Yeah, that's right. Hey,
And I promise that if you sit up here, everybody who's sat that close to me has lived to tell the tale. All right? Well, good morning. I'm Judge Marcia Peckman, and I have the pleasure of introducing the program today. I have recently been asked to be the chair of the Social Security Committee, taking over from Judge Settle. So this will be a role that I'll have more contact with you. And I would encourage you to please bring to me what you perceive as problems, what you have as good ideas for how it is we might do this better. Compliments would be welcome too, and criticism. So a few years ago, we came together to work on what we had then was a huge backlog. And I'm happy to tell you that we don't have a backlog anymore. But we are quite a remarkable district. Out of the 94 districts in the United States, we rank as number 4 in the nation. That means we have more than Los Angeles, more than Chicago, more than Pittsburgh, Philadelphia. We have a huge number of Social Security cases. We rank number 6 per judge for the numbers of cases that we process. And so that is really unusual given our population. But what I really want you to know is that that means that you are a big part of what we do. And so you are very, very important to us. Both the district court judges and the magistrate judges have significant interest in the casework that comes before us. So I thank you for being here today. I'm hoping that you're going to get some great ideas. And I'm now going to turn it over to Chief Judge Martinez.
Good morning and welcome. I hope you enjoy this year's edition of the Western Washington Bench Bar Social Security Committee CLE. As you just heard, we are one of the busiest districts in the country, and it's through your good work and through the good work of the committee and stuff that helps us kind of stay on top of this. So I just want to give you a little bit of some of the statistics. Last year, and by last year I mean October 1st, 2017 through September 30th of 2018, we received 631 appeals. We project a similar number of new appeals will be filed in this coming year, as new filings have remained actually pretty steady for the last 4 years. Western Washington judges closed 530 appeals last year during that same time frame. Pending appeals, as you just heard from Judge Peckman, have basically decreased since 2014. The consent to magistrate judge jurisdiction rate is 81% for 2018. It's an amazing number. Please keep that going. Our magistrate judges are some of the most highly respected judges in the entire country. Remember now, we have 3 district judge vacancies that have been pending. Now in January, it'll be 4 years. So your consent to the magistrate judges for these kinds of cases really helps, so I strongly encourage you to keep that up. Based on the recommendation of this particular committee, the pilot program for electronic transmission of the name and social security numbers to the government to order the administrative record will continue for another 2 years. And I just want to thank Judge Benjamin Settle, who is being replaced by Judge Peckman on this particular committee for his service to this committee. And let me make sure that you understand who the other members are. We have Magistrate Judge Brian Sashida from Seattle, Law Clerk Kelly Seberg Refi here from Seattle as well, Matthew Pyle of the Regional Counsel's Office of the Social Security Administration, and Assistant United States Attorney Kristen Johnson just joined us this morning as well, and Victoria Shagan representing the plaintiff's bar, and of course our District Court Executive Bill McCool. So it's that committee and their hard work that has made this such a success. I hope you enjoy the program today. We've got some great panels, and I'll let you get right to it. So I'm going to turn it right back over to Judge Peckman. Thank you.
I was remiss in telling you what our protocols are going to be this morning. After each speaker, we're going to have an opportunity for question and answer. But because we are recording this, and we'll put it up on the court's website, so those who can't be here can also watch, we're asking that if you have a question, that you raise your hand and we will bring you a microphone from which to speak. That will help us to get a quality recording as we go along. So it is my pleasure to introduce our next speakers, and I would like to introduce Judge Morgan Kristen and also Paul Keller. Please.
Good morning. Thanks for coming out. We appreciate it very much. I'm Morgan Kristen. I'm one of the judges on the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. I live most of my life in Alaska. I have my chambers there. I also have chambers here, which I think I mentioned before when I've come down to speak to you, and spent quite a bit of time in Seattle.
And my name is Paul Keller. I'm a longtime staff attorney with the Ninth Circuit. I worked at the San Francisco headquarters for many, many, many years, but about 4 years ago, I very happily moved to the Seattle area. I have always wanted to live here, and so I now work out of the Nakamura Courthouse, and as part of my job, I review bench memos prepared by staff attorneys in Social Security cases.
By way of background, I was on the state court for 10 years before in Alaska, before I came to the Ninth Circuit, and now I've been here. Then I think this is my 7th year on the circuit. When I came to the circuit court, I was told by actually a couple of my colleagues, that they had this expression that the cases get more complex and more interesting, and the lawyers get better the farther north you go. I don't know if they told me that just because I'm from Alaska. I liked it, but you should too. And I do. If I get nothing else across today, I do want to extend my sincere thanks and appreciation. We love sitting in Seattle. You come well prepared. I'm a little bit embarrassed, I think, to see all the expertise collected in this room. I hope my comments aren't too remedial. Please do ask a lot of questions so that we can make sure that we get to the point that you want us to be making. I know you're all very I think generally, Paul and I are going to kind of do this together. I think he's going to do most of the writing tips, and I'm going to do most of the oral argument tips, and it's going to be a bit of an organic work in progress as we go. So I just want to start with a little bit about our court. That's the Nakamura Courthouse on 5th Avenue. A lot of people don't know that, but you all do. I have had law firms not know that. Show up here for work or point them down the street. If you haven't visited the Nakamura, if you haven't had oral argument, if you're one of the, I want to really encourage you to come on over. It's interesting. For me, it's like Old Home Week. This is a Depression-era building. It's Art Deco. It was, I think, 1939. They built the Alaska courthouse at the same time, the federal courthouse there, except they were really, it was Depression. Money was tight, so they used the very same set of blueprints. Here it's a 10-story building in Alaska. They just built the first 2. But at any rate, that's the courthouse. We wanted to give you a little peek inside for those that you haven't seen it. You're going to hear me talk about that a lot today. Please visit. We know that you do a whole lot more practice in district court than on the Ninth Circuit, but coming to the Ninth Circuit doesn't have to be nerve-wracking. I wanted to show this picture in particular to remind you that its courtrooms here are wooden. You don't have to worry about echo, and you don't have to holler at them. All right, so mentoring and resources, just quickly. I think, Minute, you probably know this. And do you have mentoring programs, or do you move your arguments in your offices? Or, yeah, some nods. Yeah, well, good for you. Be that as it may, we care a lot about how we do our jobs, truly. And I want to extend an invitation. I can't talk to you about cases, of course, but I would be happy to hear you call or email or contact me with any ideas you've got about how the Ninth Circuit can do its job better. Our chief stresses that. This is one of the results. Lawyers ask for a mentoring and resource service to help them navigate the website, and you can find that right on our webpage there. You can also call our clerk's office. They're really incredibly helpful. I want to encourage you to do that as well. Okay, quickly. The Ninth Circuit, of course, the 9 western states. A lot of people don't realize we don't hear argument in all of those states, but we do hear them straight up and down the coast in Alaska and in Hawaii. I wanted to put this slide on the board because that's where we live. In terms of knowing your audience, we're going to talk about this more when we come to the oral argument point. I was in a habit of saying that I'm at an outpost up in Anchorage, an outpost. But in fact, as you see, most of us are in outposts And I think that's really something to think about when you prepare for your argument. The short answer is whether you're talking about brief writing or arguing in the Ninth Circuit, we heavily front load our preparation. Heavily front load our preparation. That's really important to keep in mind because then, and this shows why, after we get three of us get together for argument, you know, we're on planes and away we go. And so that's going to be a theme that you see throughout. We also get cases from all over. I was really surprised to see this number, the social, and I'm dubious about that number. It feels to us like we hear a lot more arguments than that. And I think the answer to that is that we have, you know, massive caseload. Many cases we resolve without oral argument. Disproportionately, way disproportionately, we hear argument in your cases. I think half of them, and that is so you're unique in that way also. As we just described, you file a lot of Social Security cases, and I think you must do them very well because at least that's our experience. We hear argument in them significantly more frequently. Did I do that backwards? Did I skip?
No. So yeah, what's one of the things that's interesting about the Social Security caseload from the Western District of Washington, I think this follows up on Peckham's point, is the number of Social Security cases as a proportion of the total caseload from the Western District of Washington has consistently been higher than all the other districts in the Ninth Circuit, with the exception of the District of Oregon.
Okay, and then this shows the publication rate.
Right, and one of the things you'll notice is the publication rate for Social Security cases is slightly lower than the general publication rate in terms of the overall caseload. That's probably, and this is speculation, probably the reason for that is that to a large extent, Social Security appeals tend to raise recurring issues where the legal standard is established and the court is primarily being asked to apply an existing legal standard to a discrete set of facts, and hence there may be less need for publication. Another kind of interesting point that I wanted to bring up here is that the reversal rate in Social Security cases is somewhat higher than the reversal rate with respect to the overall caseload. This probably, and again this is somewhat speculation, but I think it reflects that you know, generally in civil cases the court can affirm on any basis supported by the record, but in Social Security cases the court can only review the reasons provided by the ALJ. I do want to make one caveat, however, about these statistics. Though the takeaway point that the reversal rate in Social Security cases is somewhat higher. Partial remands are much more common in Social Security cases than in other types of cases, so that can somewhat artificially push up the reversal rate. But the basic point is true.
This next slide is just to show, it's really just to make a point. We start with our staff attorneys making an inventory sheet. They call it a case assessment sheet or something now, but anyway, when I started it was an inventory sheet, so it probably will be known as that forever for me. It's important, I think, for you to know how we process these cases because it is a really large caseload, and I don't want you to be left with the impression that we're throwing a dart or that our law clerks are deciding these cases, because that is certainly not true. This is the first thing we look at. It's the first thing I look at before I even get the briefs. These come to us and we get the very basic information. It is literally one sheet. It's going to tell us, notice that there's just a case name, case number, there's a weight up there. We'll talk about how the cases are weighted in a minute. A very short few sentences about what the case is about, and then the issues. And those are largely taken from your briefs. So it's terribly important. Your sort of table of contents, issues, terribly important. For me, that's, if I'm presiding on the panel, that's going to help me figure out where to assign the cases. And it's certainly the thing that we're going to be looking to when we figure out which law clerk is going to work